Save My Piggies. Your life, your limb, your story. With interventional cardiologist Dr. John Phillips and Emmy Award-winning journalist Kim McNicholas.
Well, Kim, it's time for Save My Piggies, one of my favorite segments of the show. And I'm super stoked to introduce our guest, Linda Terjesen. And she is the brains behind Learn to Love, Learn to Exercise. And she's going to share her...
Learn to love to exercise.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
I mean, all we're talking about is exercise. So, Linda, tell us about your journey to stay in shape and prevent and potentially prevent atherosclerotic disease in the heart and legs, and how you got inspired to do this and inspire others.
Yep.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Kim. So I'm Linda Terjesen, Learn to Love to Exercise. And I got inspired because heart disease runs in my family, which I know it does in many. Mm-hmm. And my brother and my dad both had heart disease. Unfortunately, my brother passed away from a sudden heart attack at age 45. And when we had the autopsy done, we found it was a second heart attack, and he actually didn't even know he had a first one. Now, this is about exercise. I love to exercise, and I love to teach others to learn to love, or at least learn to like to exercise, because when we like something, when we enjoy it, then we'll want to do it more often. But with my brother, we talked about physical activity and also having physical job and just walking around. My brother had a physical job. He was a contractor / a handyman. The morning that he passed, he was doing work in a couple's house. He felt that he had chest pain. And he told the lady, I have chest pain. I'm going to go home and lie down and I'll come back later. He drove home, went to bed, never woke up.
Wow.
And even though he was very physical in his job, it's not the same as physical activity, getting out there and exercising. You can go for a walk, but to really get the heart rate going, you need to pump it up, walk a little bit faster.
So when this happened, what was your state of health? And were you exercising with these regimented opportunities to breathe, squeeze, and sweat?
So I was exercising, but after my brother passed, I really started thinking more critically about how am I exercising and am I getting my heart rate up? I also thought a lot about stress because that is really a big factor. And that is something that highly contributed to my brother's passing. He had a lot of stress in his life. But even though there's heart disease in the family, it doesn't mean that you have to have it. And I went to the doctor and had a checkup, and then she said that I had high blood pressure, and she put me on high blood pressure medication. I did not want to be on medication. So I did everything I could. I really looked at my diet. I got more effective and efficient with my exercise. I always slept good, but I was sure to reduce stress. And I was not on that medication for very long before I was able to get off. And I think it's very important to be your own advocate as well. My brother had an EKG 4 days prior to passing away. But I don't believe his doctor was the best doctor for him. So I think it's very important to ask questions, to research, to ask others for help, and to ask others to help advocate for you.
Yeah,
sometimes we don't do that enough.
And to that point, it is crucial to not ignore symptoms. Do not ignore chest pain.
Yeah.
Females tend to present a little bit differently than males with respect to having what we call an acute coronary syndrome or a heart attack. So don't ignore it.
Right.
Call the squad, talk to your doctor, etc. But please, because, who knows? And it's really sad what happened to your brother, but I see it all the time. And I also see patients like you as well. They come in after something like this happened to a family member. Right. And okay, what do I do now? How do I change my lifestyle and how do I start exercising? So great motivation.
Yeah. And it's really all about lifestyle, right? It's exercise, stress, your nutrition, alcohol, your sleep, the people you surround yourself with, it's all of that. And my brother was only 45. And if he had driven to the emergency room and to the hospital instead of driven home, maybe he could have been saved. We'll never know.
So what was it's one thing that it was a catalyst to help you get motivated, but then what made you take it a step further, or I would say even 100 steps further, to then start Learn to Love to Exercise, LTLTE.com, and help others?
So I wanted to help others because I realized especially now, if I knew then what I know now, maybe I could have saved my brother's life. And I think a lot of people don't know, they don't ask, and we don't know what we don't know, so they don't ask the right questions. And I really wanted to help others.
In a medium fry.
That's exactly what you don't want to order if you actually do it. So we have our friend and fellow patient that he's on, hasn't muted his phone there, and he is ordering up large fries. And I think he ordered a Dr. Pepper right here to demonstrate.
You can't make this stuff up, Kim. It's just the beauty of live radio.
I did a lot of research when my brother passed. His last dinner was a huge burger, fries, and a beer at a local tavern in New York where he lived.
Wow. No, not at all. That is absolutely. So that was good. Our friend Douglas just definitely bringing up a good point there, demonstrating a good point, that's what you don't want to do. I think Dr. Ophir Isaac was saying earlier in our program that, yeah, fine, once in a while to have it, but the most important is to focus on that exercise, right? That's true.
Yeah, I think that food is a drug. We use it as a drug. It really is a drug. And in the last, I think 30 years, westernized drug called Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, Burger King is everywhere we look, and it's available. And
it's cheap, too.
When you're walking down the street, you can get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. You can get it. It's there. It's available. You got an emotional itch. You go in, you get a donut, you feel good, you're chilling out. It's like a cigarette. It's no different. So we have to learn that it's an emotional itch that we have to scratch, and we have to be hyper aware and have good mindset to go, I cannot have that. Stay away from that drug. It's no different than alcohol or smoking. It's sugar, right? And those are the things we have to watch. So yes, you can have it once in a while, but you have to be hyper aware of the amount that you are having.
Mm-hmm. Right. And Linda, you were saying that your brother had a lot of stress. And so that type of food might have been what triggered, in a sense, that addiction to the carbs and the sugar, et cetera, right?
Yeah, he wasn't the healthiest eater.
Yeah.
And nutrition plays a big part. And I think a lot of times when there's heart disease, there's also other diseases going on, right? There's high cholesterol, there's high blood sugar, diabetes. My brother had also had gout in the past, back to the beer and to the red meat. And we need to be conscious of those things and work on the mindset, switching it up, and know that it's okay to have in moderation, but we need to have other variety of foods and balance it all out.
And coming up right here on our Seg My Piggies series in our The Heart of Innovation show, we'll have more with Linda and some final takeaways from Dr. Ophir Isaac. So stay with us.
Hello. It's American Heart Month, and it's important to get our heart in action. I'm Linda Terjesen with LTLTE, Learn to Love to Exercise. I look forward to connecting and sharing some stories and tips with you during the show. I believe we can all become better with healthy eating, consistent exercise, and personal development. Heart disease is very common, though with improving our lifestyle, we can live a longer, healthier, and happier life.